You mentioned one key aspect is that, or at least what I've noticed or heard, how do you manage to, or what are the techniques that you use to not delegate, but empower others? Because it's very easy to get stuck in the day-to-day. How do you manage that in empowering others to manage the day-to-day and you keep on focused on the vision, which is very important?
Very good question, and by no means I want to give the impression that I am very good at doing this, but I work on it every day, which is different.
Yeah.
And what I have tried to do, because what's best is speak from what I've done, is that I always aimed of building a team of people around me that I trust implicitly. And once you can trust the people around you, and trust means you have to be willing to accept both their strengths and their weaknesses, like they accept mine. So I also have obviously my weaknesses. And once the trust is established, then you need to make sure that you are in the business. When you are in the business, you are only in the business because they need you to be there, and your role is to actually pave the way. But then do not get in the way of the decisions being taken by those different leaders. And over time, so I've had situations like the market research company, where I've been working with the head of research, Vanessa, for many years now. So I know that she will always come to when she needs me, but I don't need to kind of be micromanaging. And I'm not a good micromanager anyways.
Okay.
So that's one of the things I say immediately to
That's to your advantage.
Who's reporting to me. Look, I'm not a micromanager, so if you expect me to be checking on you as we go along, some people don't want it, but some others would wish that I did more. So I think I communicate what I will not be doing, but I am here. You can have a cup of coffee with me every day if needs be to speak to me about your concerns. It doesn't mean I will not make time for you. But my role is to kind of support you, or at least be 2 years ahead of the company, of the needs of the company. So we're always ahead of the curve, because in what happens, especially in an island like Malta, as soon as you launch something, I mean, most of the other companies, there's the second mover advantage, right? People that will copy what you are doing. I want to be in a position that I'm always trying to innovate. And sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong. But my role is to have this team of, I call it the incubation center, where you can test an idea. So the virtual reality idea, that's not in practice, but it's one of the projects we are planning to start working on. And we will try to also get involved into European projects in doing so, because there are some other further higher education institutes which are already testing it.
Okay.
So you don't need to learn from zero, but you can start the process maybe a few steps where they are. So it's about making sure that you trust, you create and communicate clear values of the organization, and not only to the people reporting to you, but making sure that those values are cascaded down to any employee working in the business. Let me give you an example. One of our key values, which I strongly believe in, is, and it's not a lip service, is integrity. So I always say to any employee, if you ever are faced with a dilemma and you don't know what to do, test it against the integrity principle, and if you think it will pass, even if the company, hopefully we don't go bankrupt because of such a decision, because it's very unlikely that an executive can take a decision. But if you believe that, and there's no one that can give you guidance that it would pass the integrity test, well, in that case you should be taking it, even if it's not profitable for us. Because if in the bigger scheme of things that's the right thing to do, so doing what is right without fail, then that's what we should be doing. And then let's eventually find solutions where it becomes profitable. That's one example. I think the only thing I say to any employee who is not reporting to me, and the only reason why I tell them you should come to me if you need to, because you asked me the first question, am I happy? I ask this to every employee that joins us. We recently had a new person joining our marketing team this week.
Okay.
And I had an induction session with this person, and I told him, for anything you need. Obviously, there's your manager, and you should speak to your manager. And you should also speak to the manager about what I'm going to tell you now. But in this particular case, if you really want to come and speak to me, my door is always open. And I always say, if you go to work for, let's say, a prolonged period of time, and you are not happy, and maybe the reasons why you're not happy are not related to the company, but you should come to us, speak to us within our network. There are other jobs available. One of our the companies in the ecosystem is a recruitment agency. So you should not be concerned in any way that you need to try to look for a job without informing us, because maybe we can be your enablers to find a new job. But what I'm trying to say is that create a culture and the system where everyone feels safe. If everyone feels safe and happy, then it's more likely that the team is being productive. Are we always successful? No. But we always aim to be.
You're conscious of it, You're consciously making an effort to make it work.
And eventually people accept it and realize. We have had some people that, for example, moved within the group, and today they are in a chief operating position, who started in one company, but we realized they were better suited for something else.
Okay.
And that's what a group of companies gives you then. When the company starts growing, more opportunities arise, and people maybe can work to their strengths better in some roles than others. But going back to your question on how I don't work on the day-to-day, but try to work more on the strategies by making sure that I create this relationship of trust with the people who are leading the teams, and let them take the decisions, because they are employed to take those decisions. And I work on what is next, or what I am very often I jump from company to company depending on the needs and exigencies, because if there's a company that requires my support more than another, I might be spending some more time there. But very often I think I add more value on the strategic part. And the strategic part is not just a buzzword. On having, we've created, for example, a 3-year manifesto now, and my job is to work on that with other people. So within the next 3 years, CMBS today is completely different to what CMBS. Because otherwise you start if you stop moving forward by default.
You stagnate.
So, and it works. I mean, also spending time out of the office. So if you are always at the office, by default, especially, we went through this transition, for example, in the business school. We had a school principal who joined us in January, and it was a new role. So we didn't even have a school principal before.
Okay.
So at the beginning I was around, and I was planning not to be around, but the person told me, be around. But now I already feel very confident that I don't need to be around as often as I need to, and the less time I spend at the office, the more time office this person can implement her own vision on how we can do better. And either I work from home, sometimes from coffee shops, but strategically being out of the business. So
I think that's very powerful. Yes, that's very powerful. Being physically outside the business, I think that is one of the key approaches to help you detach yourself from the day-to-day, because if you're there, you're taking for granted that you will have to support, sort of.
And not only that, and your mind, because you're listening, you're observing, and you get sucked in, whether you like it or not.
Yes.
From a thought point of view, you're still interacting on the day-to-day. Whilst by not being there, or by not at least being in a space where you are listening to the conversations, because someone else you're trusting is listening to those conversations, gives you the opportunity to think on the business and work on the business rather than in the business. And I also feel empowered then, because I am being permitted to do my job. Because my job is that primarily. Otherwise I am doing the job of someone else's who I trusted to do that role in the first place.
One of the things that you mentioned that I really liked is that it's the patience and perseverance to surround yourself with the right people. I think some businesses try to rush or are put in a position that they need to work really fast, but they end up or teaming up with in inverted commas, the wrong business partners, or hiring the wrong person in that sense. And that creates a domino effect in reality. So choosing the right people to surround yourself, it's like surrounding yourself with friends. It's like you have to have a very good support system so that you can propel the business forward. And I think that's key.